Welcome back to Mega Man X Command Mission. So, last time we arrived in Godeel Laboratory. Unfortunately, Godeel himself, not super receptive to helping either side. Even less so now that the Force Metal Generator has been kidnapped. And I say kidnapped because the generator is actually a person. Her name's Cinnamon. Even worse, the person who would have been better to kidnap her got shot a whole lot. And nearly killed. And now she's been kidnapped by Dr. Psyche instead, who works for the Rebellion Army, so that's bad. Anyway, Dr. Godeel wants us to hurry, but don't worry, Godeel. I know the secret pathway that's gonna lead us to the treasure we seek. So, basically, we can come in here, we can talk to this man. Chamber of the Wheat Keeper? Pfft. No, I'm not. I am gonna fight him, actually. Unfortunately, as you can see around here, nothing to really do other than fight the man to move forward. We have no choice. So even though we're strapped for time, Godeel's guardians, I think they're supposed to be here, so they would belong to Godeel. Yeah, they're gonna get in our way. So, I've got a few things to mention this episode, first of which being, of course, the voice actors. Let's get through these quickly. So, Randall Weeb is a voice I've mentioned before in Mega Man X8. He was the voice of Earthrock Trilobite, Dr. Light. But in addition to all the other voices I probably mentioned at the time, he is, of course, the voice of Professor Godeel, and also the original Steel Massimo, so... he plays a platypus, and also a mostly dead man. A guy who is half a guy. So let's see, next up, Cinnamon hasn't really been in too much, we've seen a bit of her, but I guess I'll mention her next then. So, she is voiced by Caitlin Medrick, who I don't recognize most of her roles. She was Pawn in Dragon Ball GT, couple Gundams as always. There's almost always some miscellaneous Gundams during this and earlier time periods, but she does seem to be doing recent voice work as well. Next off, Roger Rhodes, another voice that has made an appearance already. In X8, he played Cygnus, Gravity Antonian, and Vile, which of course means he's also the voice of motherfucking Cactus Gunman. That's the only overlap voice I'll mention. You know, I've already gone over this in X8, but yeah, he's the voice of Dr. Psyche in this game, as well as other characters who will come up later. And lastly, of course, saving the best character for last, even though she got super killed and is no longer going to appear, Marino. She is voiced by Carol Ann Day, who I'm surprised didn't come up in X8. Like, I could have sworn she would have had to, but no, she did. I don't see a voice credit in X8, so I guess she wasn't? I don't know, I feel like I must have mentioned her in something before. She was also the voice of Cactus Girl in Gregory Horror Show, both the game and the show, and Lost Doll specifically in the game. I don't know where I would have mentioned her otherwise, because again, I can't find an X8 voice credit. Other than that though, yeah, big role I also know is for Murasame from Gundam. So, yeah, just, Zeta Gundam and later iterations of the character in probably, like, games mostly. Maybe some crossover stuff. I don't think Gundam usually gets stuff like that. Their one-offs are usually their own thing, but I don't know most Gundams super well. I've only seen a couple of them. Really gotta get back to that at some point. But now's not the time for that. We are continuing to fight. Again, I'm showing you the path to items, not necessarily the path that Godeel wants us to take, because it's the faster one, but honestly, it doesn't actually make a difference. You won't, like, get some kind of game over or anything, you'll just be lost for a while, that's more or less it. But, yeah, I'm not gonna follow that path. Because I've got a walkthrough.
This is nothing. Kaboom!
Kaboom! I really love Masamo's voice lines. He's got a lot of good ones. Anyway, though, so... other thing I wanted to mention is, we're actually going to be talking a little more about Final Strikes at this point. This is the perfect episode for it, because we're going to be using a lot of them. So, I think the first thing is, I want to clarify a thing I said at one point. I think I said it's basically a guaranteed kill, or probably said it was a guaranteed kill. Technically speaking, it's not entirely a guarantee, because enemies can still avoid attacks, even if they are, under Final Strike rules. They still have their evasion and whatever. They got their evasion, they've got their defense. It's just, if you are able to consistently hit an enemy to the point where you do enough damage to knock out 75% of their HP, chances are you can probably finish them there. I guess, to be fair, it's not necessarily always true, but I really cannot think of a niche case where an enemy is going to be so evasive that, like, nobody will be able to hit them with a Final Strike. It would be unusual. Like, at that point, it's like, okay, well, how are you hacking the game to get to an area that is way over-leveled for you? Anyway, the other thing I need to mention is, this didn't really come up, actually there's two other things now that I think about it, but, you'll notice that there is a hit count when we get to Final Strike, and basically, each character has their own kind of, like, Final Strike weapon. They will either attack up close or far away, and so there's some amount of variance for the number of times each character will attack when you get to the end. So yeah, as you can see, X and Spider both attack from a distance, while Massimo strikes up close. So yeah, they all have their own variables on, like, how much damage they do or how many times they hit, so depending on your overall character setup, you might do different amounts of damage. There might be certain there are certain advantages to the number of times you can hit something. Again, in terms of just taking out an enemy, much like with the whole evasion thing, chances are, if you can do a Final Strike and all you want to do is kill the enemy, the number of times you hit really isn't going to matter. Like, if you've gotten them to that point, you can finish them, it's fine. You don't really have anything to worry about.
What do you think, Spider?
Why are you asking me?
Okay. She's breathing.
Oh, right, I can check for a pulse.
Sleeping Beauty.
Hey, why am I the only person who knows how to check for pulses?
What are you doing here?
That's my line.
We're from the Resistance. We're after Psyche of the Rebellion Army.
Psyche.
Hate that guy, he shot me to death.
So you're gonna find Psyche and kick his butt? I'm Marino, the petty thief.
I feel like you've done more than petty thievery.
Hey, if you're going
I'm
against
believing
Psyche,
every bit
take
of
me
your
with you.
concept art description to be canon.
Thief? Why?
I don't care who this rebellion army is. All I know is I'm not gonna stand by while they steal stuff I could be stealing.
Like a whole ass person. Yeah, she is really cool, right, Massimo? Okay, so, putting a pause on the Final Strike stuff for now, Marino has joined the party. So yes, now we can actually have more character variation than just X, Massimo, and Spider. So I was bringing this stuff up because now we've got reserve units. So this does actually work a lot like it does in Final Fantasy X. In fact, let's look at Formation right now. We're gonna look at her first. Nope, we're looking at Formation, because I want to show you, you can cycle X out of the party if you want to. Now that being said, X is a solid character, so chances are you probably want him in the party. But you don't have to have him in the party if you don't want him. So yes, we're not shackled by some mechanics from older RPGs, like, oh, I don't know, most of the Final Fantasies before 10, we can not use the main character if we want to. And you might not. X is great. But, like, you can still see him in the overworld and just not have him in the fight. It's fine. So, yes, you can actively cycle out characters. You can do it in battle, too. It's pretty immediate. Of course, you do want to take turn order into account. You will cycle a character in. It's just, you know, if you want to, oh, I don't know, replace Massimo, who is not the fastest character, although, to be fair, X also kind of getting outsped right now. You just have to take that into account. You might be waiting for a while to get Spider back into the party if he's who you want, so... if you need anything at the start of a fight, it's really just better to have your setup before the battle. Just so you don't get surprised by turn order. Anyway, though, Marino herself, of course, as you might imagine from the thief-type character, she's very fast and usually pretty dodgy. Of course, it's early yet, so she hasn't quite hit her full potential. We might want some more... force metal on her for that. She attacks up close for her final strike, and she, of course, attacks very quickly. So, chances are, with her, you'll probably be getting a lot of hits on for a final strike. So yeah, do I show off Marino's stats? I think I do. Might be after this, because I might need to set her up a little bit. Anyway though, so, Marino. She does have one drawback. Her hyper mode is fantastic, but... oh, I'm not the biggest fan of her action command. I'm terrible at it. So yes, it's emotional reel. Also, it's called action trigger. Jeez. I'll get it right one of these days. Which is potentially pretty good if you're good at it. I'm going to tell you now, however, I'm not. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm so bad at it. So yeah, here are her stats. She's a close-range character. Not the strongest, of course, but, she's still pretty solid. I've switched back from the Joker, which is a random effects weapon, to the Queen of Spades weapon, because of the effect that particular weapon has. That's going to be vital for our strategy going into... let's see, we've got a save point and a tank energy 100, so you can only assume that means it's boss time.
Psyche!
How could anybody have caught up to us? We were walking very slowly, actually. Okay, I can see how that happened.
Thief, you should be dead! And X, is it?
I'm less worried about you because I didn't shoot you to death earlier. I'm more insulted by that one.
Wretched vermin. I pity you. I truly do.
On account of all the gay stuff you're doing.
Of how far
Holy
the
shit, this guy's
rebellion will
homophobic.
take
Yeah, he's
that
really
world
homophobic.
You mean technology for war?
I'm wasting my time with you. I'll take care of you myself. Get ready to meet your end.
Oh no, the weird dome guy's gonna fight us, whatever will we do? Alright, time for the next boss.
Perfect. You'll make a good specimen.
Okay, so, this guy kinda needs a very specific strategy if you want to keep him in a loop. He keeps on summoning these needles, which is an interesting attack that doesn't necessarily benefit him. More on that later. But for the time being, first off, I really need Spider's weapon energy to be built up, because, again, his weapon does have a very good effect for, I believe it's 75% or above weapon energy, so unfortunately, we're not going to be playing poker, so yeah, that's that. Right, if you destroy all of the needles by Dr. Psyche's turn, then you're able to just have him stuck in a loop where he'll keep summoning needles. Okay, so, here's another final strike thing. The last thing I did not mention because it has not been relevant up until this point. However, if you are able to hit multiple enemies below the threshold in a single strike, you can choose who you want to hit with the final strike. You just need to press the arrows. And do be mindful that you do need to do enough damage between the two of them, or three of them in this case, it can be three. Yeah, you need to do enough damage between the three of them that you're able to actually take them out. See, I got two of them here, so the final strike's easy, I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, that is, again, the thing that, I could have mentioned earlier, because technically I could have procced it, it's just a little bit difficult to in previous circumstances. Even with the X-Buster, I find I have a hard time doing that, but the needles have so little HP that it's really not a huge problem. So yeah, that's the big thing I needed to mention with Final Strike. The last big thing is just, you can hit multiple enemies, just remember to actually target them, because you need to specifically aim at them. It's not just, if 3 enemies can be final struck, you get them all at the same time. No, you have to make the conscious decision to attack them. Anyway, as for the rest of the fight, so, Dr. Psyche, he's got 12,000 life energy, no weaknesses but no strengths either, so he is completely element neutral. You don't have to care about that. 85 power, 46 armor, 40 shield, 74 speed. So, Summon Needles, of course, summons Needles, which we haven't seen what those do yet. But he can use a move called Needle Shower, which he will use up the needles in order to either raise or lower random stats, both to him and to you. So, like, chances are, he could accidentally debuff himself and buff you at the same time. It's happened to me before. I did do a second take of this because I figured, yeah, no, this is just a much more efficient strategy than to keep Spider with the Joker weapon that I had, which is neat. It is just a random effect weapon, but as you can see from this is way more effective. And we got to learn about multi-hit final strikes. So next off, he has a move called 4D Throw, which he's not going to use because he's stuck in a loop forever. Though, even in the old run, I don't think he ever used it. I think... oh god, here we are, emotional reel. So yes, it's a slot minigame, and I'm so bad at it. Like, I try to time it out. You can see the pattern in them. There's like, I don't know, up to maybe 10... of the reel, so I'm basically just going like, okay, heart, chest, boot, whatever. You know, whatever the order is, just trying to get the timing right, but I just keep failing. I'm going to warn you ahead of time and say, I absolutely could not pull that move off in this video. I hope I can get it someday, because, look, every other aspect of Marino is fantastic. I'm just so bad at this. But basically, you can either get well, there's 3 options. You can get a high damaging attack, you can get an HP drain attack, or you can get a guaranteed steal. So yeah, that is way better than just the, item theft, whatever that one's called that Spider has, that I did briefly consider putting on Marino, cause, you know, it works cause she's a thief and all, but she currently has a Zenny booster, as well as the Hawkeye sub-weapon, which guarantees her an attack, so I don't really want to switch Zenny, or item stealing just yet. Cause, I don't know, it does give Spider a little bit of use. He's kinda running out of niche here, so he needs it. Anyway though, back to 4D Throw, I got distracted. So apparently he can throw a book, which is just a single target attack that ignores shield. Glass Jar, which is water damage to the whole party. Key, which is single target attack, lowers shield by 25%, instead of just ignoring it for a single attack. Round Bottom Flask, which is water to a single target that can freeze them. Screwdriver, which is just single target. It's probably one of his worst moves. And then Syringe, which absorbs 10% of your life energy. That sucks to get hit by, you don't want that. And then the attack that I did see in the other one, but I don't think we ever see here, Doom Blaster. 2-hit, inflicts Berserk. So you might want Berserk Protection, because he can do some status ailments. As can the needles if they actually survive. They haven't so far. They only have 400 HP. But they can do Needle Vulcan, which is a 3-hit attack, Stun Gun, so that one's Bind, Smoke Out, which is Blind, Code Breaker, which is apparently DOA, you know, dead on arrival, so a 1-hit kill. I definitely didn't see that one. Virus Attack, which is, well, virus, so poison, and Cryogenic, so freeze. So yeah, you really don't want those things to be alive. Thankfully though, yeah, that was a pretty efficient run, and now Dr. Psyche is dead. I didn't have anything creative for that. Sorry.
We scientists have a nasty bite!
As a scientist and a Red Cross member, I can do this! Decapitate myself! Boy, that's gonna be a weird line in the cut commentary version, huh? So anyway, Dr. Psyche is the first boss with a second form.
You'll never beat my evolved form!
I think I will. So yes, this is the Mad Nautilus. If you thought it was weird that we just had a form, or a Maverick that was just a guy, well guess what? Here's his real Maverick form. That this one is just a big ol' Nautilus with his head in it. So yes, he's got a few moves, as well as 38,500 HP, still no strengths or weaknesses, 275 power, 85 armor, 95 shield, and for some reason this thing is faster with 100 speed. So yes, he has Mad Blaster, which is a single target attack, Penetration, which is a single target attack that ignores shield, Mad Cocktail, which is just a random status effect, Death Gravity, which is it hits you and basically quarters your health. Energy Capture, which, like Syringe, will absorb 10% of your LE. And Mad Ecstasy, so that is 6 hits, which is by far his most dangerous attack. He can spread that damage out, so either 6 hits against 1 person, 3 against 2, or 2 against 3, so you might be incredibly screwed depending on who he decides to hit you with. He also has a gimmick, which you probably noticed at the start of this round, in that, until we do something about that shield, he'll counterattack. So yeah, he'll just use Mad Blaster if you try to hit him. Plus, he's got heightened defense up until we can actually take care of that. Okay, there we go. Mad Ecstasy! Yeah, there's his ultimate attack. That wasn't too bad because I was defending and Spider is invisible. So now we have a single turn to do as much damage to him as we possibly can. Thankfully, we've built up plenty of weapon energy, so X-Fire here is going to unload all of that in a single charge. He's very evasive, but even the single attack I got was incredibly effective. Right, so it's time for Marino's Hyper Mode, Quicksilver. So look at the turn order right now, and tell me what you see. You see Marino getting 2 turns in a row. So yes, Quicksilver is probably one of my favorite hyper modes in the game. The most important thing is that it massively— oh god. Oh, don't do this to me. Oh, you're wasting your turn. This isn't gonna be good. I guess I should have gone for the HP drain, but I just wanted to go for the big attack. Anyway though, yes, so, the biggest thing about Quicksilver is it massively increases your speed, meaning that Marino can take several turns in a row. And this is just beginning of the game, Marino. This is just her introduction. So yes, her actual boosts are 50% increase to life energy, 20% boost to power, 75%, I think protection from water, I don't know why that's there, but sure, whatever. And then, of course, the most important thing is 200% speed. So yes, this is a very cool one. It doesn't give the biggest boosts to power, meaning that it's not going to be as effective as X-Fire for actually getting damage done. It's not going to be quite the defensive powerhouse that Glint Armor is. But let me tell you, Quicksilver just lets Marno own the turn economy, just for the rest of the Hyper Mode's limit. And, you know, that is absolutely one of the most important things you can do. Like, if you were to get really good at the slots, you could do some massive damage in almost no time at all. And then if you also need to throw in a quick heal while you're at it, go ahead! You can do whatever you want. Again, as long as Quicksilver's active, you just own the battlefield. Also, goddamn, X might have been killed there if he wasn't defending. Yeah, so, like I said, that's absolutely his best attack. Mad Ecstasy is no joke. If he spreads the damage out, that's a bit of a mercy, definitely, but if he decides to focus fire, ow. Thankfully, though, this being a gimmicky fight, chances are you should be defending. Like, once you realize he's got heightened defense until the bulkheads go down, you really should just be defending and making sure you're healed up. Also, yeah, I decided to go with Massimo over Spider, though that's not the best idea, just because, like I said, he's weirdly dodgy. So, Massimo's not the best at hitting, but damn it, if Glint's armor does hit, oh buddy, it's gonna hurt. So yeah, I can quickly heal X, and I've not really wasted a turn. Of course, the only real drawback is, while it does start with a lot of uses, due to the nature of how Quicksilver works, it is the fastest to drain. It is very fun owning the turn economy, but once you're done, you're done. Yeah, Marno Stamp is doing, like, okay damage. No, not even okay. Very mediocre damage. Also, damn, that was an out-and-out block. Nice. So yeah, I need to cool down immediately, so I don't waste that. So yeah, like I said, I think Marno's really great. I do tend to favor the, faster, more critical-inclined characters, you know. I'm all about those Myrmidons in Fire Emblem, so absolutely the Thief character here is, absolutely my jam. Except for Emotional Reel, because I'm so bad at it. Again, this is my second take. This is me with practice at it. And let me also mention, if you're wondering what her weapon energy does specifically, it makes the slot slower. So, like, if she reaches 100% weapon energy charge, that's supposedly as easy as it gets. And I still cannot hit it for shit. I have not successfully gotten anything at any point. Marno Stamp is mediocre damage. But yeah, no, like I said, like, if you can get good at it, it does have some very good effects. Like, you can either have high damage, a guaranteed steal, or recovery. Like, all of your options are very good. And I don't think there's any zombie situation, like in Final Fantasy, where if you hit somebody with a drain attack, you get hurt instead. That sucks, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So yeah, like I said, this is a very, very gimmicky fight, but to be fair, his first form is gimmicky too. He's a very gimmick-based boss, and he's here to teach you that, you know, sometimes guys just don't have elemental weaknesses, and you just have to deal with that. It also means that he's not really going to be hitting you for anything because he's not instilled with any kind of weakness, but he can hit you with status effects. He's really the first time that's been a major deal. Otherwise, it's just been kind of a non-issue. Like, some enemies have status effects that they've imparted, but I've not cared that much. Oh, look at that. And he gets hit by the second final strike of the day. It's not a lot of hits and a lot of them missed, but see, even though a lot of them missed, final strike still killed him. Like I said, as long as you can hit the final strike in the first place, you will almost certainly finish the enemy.
Need more power.
Yeah, Dr. Psyche, the boss of the chapter, you sucked actually. You were garbage. So we got Virus Missile, you can probably guess what that does.
Professor!
X, I must thank you. You've rescued my dear Cinnamon. But I won't cooperate. Not with the Rebellion Army and not with you. The Force Metal Generator, Cinnamon.
This is my daughter, I don't want to put her in danger.
X. Professor, I want to fight with X.
Maybe it's because I'm real high right now, but I want to fight with him.
I'm not...
Seriously, what is going on with her pupils?
This is my own idea. We can't let people like Psyche and the Rebellion Army get away with this. I know now that I must put this power that you've given me to good use. I want to try and help my new friends.
Cinnamon?
Please?
What's the verdict, Professor?
You still can't call me Prof, but...
Perhaps Cinnamon...
Guess I have to let my daughter do something.
Dr. Psyche was a wonderful mind. The Rebellion Army destroyed him.
I used to like that guy. Oh yeah, he's super homophobic now.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, I know, he joined the Red
Looks
Cross,
like
I
we
heard
have a
about
new
that.
ally.
A new ally? Don't you mean two?
Marino!
We're not leaving Morono behind. I would probably die on the spot if we did.
A thief like me?
Your past doesn't matter. I knew
X is just like, wait,
That's
aren't you
why
that woman who stopped the Sigma virus?
Oh, shucks.
I guess I did. It's kinda whatever. It's no big deal. Alright, so Cinnamon joined the party. And I hope you're ready for a tutorial that is not going to be relevant until next episode. Here's the FMG screen. I'll actually talk about it next time, but yeah, we've got a whole major mechanic tacked onto this character. So yeah, we'll go over all this next time, because it's the end of the episode and it's the end of the chapter. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. It did not have as good a moment as Massimo had in Chapter 3, but like I said, that's kind of the highlight of the game for me, so it's all been downhill from here, except Marino joined, so it's not actually been downhill. I lied, someone cool joined the party. And next time I hope you're ready to not really see her that much, because it's gonna be another intermission episode. I mean, there'll be some fighting, but, you know, calmer fighting with fewer stakes.